place where you can go, where there's no one to tell you yes or no. If you just look into your heart, you will find that that's the place to start. If you take a step and take another again, you'll find a better place to land. I know that it can be there someday. You've been waiting for. I know this life can be that one life you've been dreaming of. Today could be the someday. Today could be the one day. Today could be the someday you've been dreaming of. Today could be the someday. Today could be the one day. Today could be the someday you've been dreaming of. Oh, 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 oh. Today could be the day. Oh, 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 today could be the day.
Jim Brogan. I was born here. I've been here all my life. I have 2 degrees from the University of Tennessee. So we do wealth management and retirement planning. Anything in your life that could impact your finances. So we serve people, and that's part of our mission statement. We serve people.
It's time for Wake Up with Witcher. Here's meteorologist Mike Witcher from the East Tennessee Weather Center.
I mean, all I'm going to say is some of you did a little bit too much snow dancing is what you did. The snow machine is going to be cranking up here as we wrap up this week, tomorrow, and into the upcoming weekend. And yes, I do have snowfall totals for you this morning. This is just a start, but I think it's a good idea of what we could potentially see. We may have to bump up some of those snowfall totals, and of course, I'm going to be walking you through those details. If you don't mind, for community awareness, to let everybody know what's going on, go ahead and like and share this live broadcast here. If you're on social media, it really helps to promote the platform, of course, and really to allow folks to understand what this storm system is going to be doing. Remember, we're talking about basically all snow. Now, there's this a little caveat that we may see just a quick little bout of rain until the colder air comes racing on through tomorrow. But that's not going to be much, and it won't last very long. This is an all snow maker. No freezing rain, no sleet, no wintry mix. And bone chilling. The Arctic air is going to set up shop and roll our direction. You saw that live shot from downtown Anderson County, or downtown Clinton. I always say downtown Anderson County, but downtown Clinton. Let's take you outside again here this morning and show you a beautiful sunrise taking shape. That's Fox Road Marina in West Knoxville this morning. And again, a really nice, quiet, cold start to the day. But those temperatures will only tank from here on out as we head through the upcoming weekend. We got a lot of folks joining on the chat here this morning. Of course, we're going to bring a lot more folks to the chat as we progress through the morning. So make sure you stay with me, and let's go ahead and get to work and start you off. First things first, I got to get you out the door here this morning. I know you're holding on for those snowfall totals, and I do have those. And we're going to try to be as precise as we possibly can. A lot of you are asking, of course, on social media already. What about my community? Now, listen, I do cover all of East Tennessee, so just know that when we talk about snowfall totals, there's going to be, a little bit of a grace period, and it all depends on this low pressure system. Again, as the low begins to form over the next 24 hours, the low hasn't even formed yet, so as it begins to form really and strengthen along the eastern seaboard, and I think really what I've been showing you over the last couple of days has painted a very good picture because the models have had a pretty good handle on how this is going to play out over the next, 36, 48 hours, 72 hours. All right, so 24-hour temperature change. Believe it or not, it's a little bit warmer than what we were yesterday, but it's not warm. We've got teens and 20s. But at least every morning over the last 2 days have progressively gotten just a skosh warmer than over the last few days. All right, love the pink sky. The change is coming, says Judy. Yes, absolutely, the change is coming. All right, let's get the right sponsorship on there. There we go. All right, so the forecast for the day today, we start off in the teens and 20s. Lunchtime temperatures, cold. We're going to be in the upper 20s to low 30s. Mid-30s as the kids head home from school, then dropping back into the low 30s by 7 o'clock tonight. If you have any sort of evening plans, I know last night was a big church night. My kids had a church group as well. All right, so forecast high temperatures today. still trending about 10 degrees below average for this time of the year. We're going to be in the 30s and low 40s. And that's really the story, but we're going to tank even more so as we get into the weekend. So let's go ahead and walk you through this picture, okay? Again, I'm going to be very detailed, and I'm going to break everything down to what I think is going to be taking place and the reason why, right? I like to give you the why in weather because I could just tell you exactly what's going on. I could tell you what I think is going to happen, not exactly. It's not, weather is an inexact science, of course. But here, I like to explain things and give you a little bit of scientific information so you understand the complexity of winter storms or any sort of forecast. So we've got cold Arctic high pressure over Canada. That's going to dive its way southward. A low pressure system's forming along or just north of the Gulf Coast. And so where that forms and how fast it strengthens and the track of this low is everything in this forecast. Everything. And like I said yesterday, if this low shifts north, south, east, or west 100 miles, which seems like a long ways to drive, seems like a really long ways to run or walk. But when you're talking about a storm system this big, it's just a little wobble. It really doesn't, it's not a big deal for a big storm. All right, so the low pressures comes on through. We're going to superimpose the interactive or the future cast on top of the colder air so you can get an idea. Cold air comes in. We've got a little wave coming through tomorrow evening. That's going to bring us our first bout of snow. And then as the low tracks its way to the south and southeast, that's going to throw a ton of moisture up into this cold air mass. And we're talking Arctic air. And I've taken a slew of notes that I'm going to walk you through here as well as let's see, where are my notes? Just to really fine tune everything for you as well. We're talking about winter storm impacts, and we're going to break it down by region here in East Tennessee. The low is going to track its way up the Carolina coastline and into the mid-Atlantic. It is going to be an all snowmaker and a big snowmaker. I will say, if you had travel plans to travel into Virginia, North Carolina, I probably wouldn't this weekend. Just hang back, even though it's going to be a light, fluffy snow. It's going to pile up quite a bit. That Arctic air settles in Saturday, Sunday, and then we'll have a gradual warming trend as we get into next week. So the bullseye, and I've been highlighting this bullseye over the last, 2-3 days or so. The bullseye has continued to be into Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, along the coastal areas. And we're talking about the possibility of blizzard conditions along the beaches. That's what we're talking about, my friends, because we have a strong low pressure system that's technically, I don't know if I haven't dove into the details on what that low is going to do, but I have, but I mean, the low is going to strengthen rapidly along the eastern seaboard. That increases the wind with the snowfall and the Arctic air. That's going to create some blizzard conditions. Crazy if we see blizzards along the east coast. But notice how we're on the extreme western fringe of the big snow. But as this takes shape, I do think that the heaviest snow is going to be across the mountains of East Tennessee, which is what we talked about yesterday. The winter storm watch goes into effect here as we get into our Friday, runs all the way through Saturday night, really, but into Sunday. So the winter storm watch is in place. All that means is, hey, listen, we're watching. The National Weather Service says, okay, we're going to start with a watch, just like a severe thunderstorm watch or a tornado watch, right? It's not happening right now. We're watching. All of this area or most of this area will be a winter storm warning. Winter weather advisory is going to be painted around that. So they'll kind of confine the winter storm warning to the bullseye. And I think the winter storm warning will be issued for the mountains of East Tennessee. The winter storm watch really paints a picture of where we think the heaviest snowfall is going to fall. So from Knox County to Blount County to the mountains of Monroe County, up the I-81 corridor towards Tri-Cities. That's who's going to get the heaviest snow. That's going to be the counties that are going to be most impacted from this storm system as well. So I wanted to just share something with you. This is a really interesting, like I said, we're going to dive into a lot of details. I'm going to go slow. I'm going to open this up here. Hold on. So what you're going to be looking at is a 1 hour snowfall accumulation. So how much snow could we potentially see in 1 hour's worth of time? So it's not going to give you an accumulation. It's just showing you 1 hour. So watch as we progress through time. We'll pick up our timelines Friday morning. We'll run you through Friday afternoon. You can kind of see, we're going to see a little bit about of snow possible as we progress through the afternoon and into the 7 o'clock hour. Here we go. Okay, so now there's 7 o'clock Friday night. So just from sunrise through 7 o'clock, we potentially could pick up close to an inch of snowfall across the foothills, upper East Tennessee along the I-81 corridor. So conditions will deteriorate and the snow will start to fall and could start to fall pretty heavily as we get into the sundown hour on Friday night. Now watch as we head through the overnight hours. That's when the snow machine is really going to pick up because the Arctic air sets up, the low is going to start to strengthen. And watch as we head through the overnight hours. I mean, we're looking at snowfall rates of about an inch per hour across parts of the mountain counties, maybe even higher amounts than that through 3 o'clock in the morning. But notice where the heaviest snow is isolated, right? Along the I-81 corridor in the foothills and mountains of East Tennessee and Upper East Tennessee. Lesser amounts the further west you are. The Cumberland Plateau, you may wake up to on Saturday with a nice little coating of snow because of the Arctic air, and realize that anything that falls is going to stick to the ground and create either icy roads or allow the snow to pile up. Now we take you through Saturday, and one thing you're going to notice is you're going to see it start to fade from west to east as the low tracks its way up the East Coast. Watch this. See how now as we get into the lunch hour, we're probably not going to see a whole lot of snowfall, at least really accumulating a lot across the plateau. I think we're going to start to shut that down. And then as we progress through our Saturday afternoon, we're going to start to shut it down a little bit more from west to east. And then we're going to continue to see the snow cranking across Upper East Tennessee, the foothills, the mountains. So Blount, Sevier, Cott, Greene County, Unicoi, Carter counties, Tri-Cities area, still going to be hanging on to some decent snow through Saturday evening. And then as we head into Sunday morning, then we start to see this whole storm system kind of fade away, but that's when it moves its way up the mid-Atlantic. And we are going to have a guest join us. Nor'easter Nick is going to be joining us here in just a little bit to talk about the impacts for the mid-Atlantic as the storm moves its way up the eastern seaboard, because he's going to be dealing with that. So as we've talked about over the last couple of days, here's your map. Okay, so this is, and I posted this yesterday. I said, okay, snow possible, chance for snow, but the best chance of snow is going to be across the foothills and mountains and the higher elevations. They're going to get walloped with some pretty good snow. All right, so you ready for your snowfall forecast here this morning? We're going to walk you through a lot more details. Drum roll, please. I know this is like the one thing that you all want all the time, right? All right, so I've broken it down, and there's a lot of information on this map here. So I'm going to be posting a lot more to social media through the day today. I'm going to highlight different areas of East Tennessee, the Northwest, the Northeast, the mountains, the Southwest, and of course, central Knox County. Let's start from west to east, because again, we're less potential for a lot of snowfall across the Cumberland Plateau. The southern sections, light snow to maybe a dusting of snow. Again, the Arctic air is very efficient in producing snow, and it will stick to the ground because temperatures are so cold. So light dusting to light snow from Chattanooga up towards Athens, Ray and Meigs County. You come up towards the Cumberland Plateau, there is going to be possibly, because we have higher terrain there, the classic horseshoe. So we are going to see a lot more snow across the classic horseshoe of East Tennessee. So I think from Cumberland County to Fentress County, Scott County, 1 to 2, 1 to 3 inches. The Cumberland Mountains in northern Anderson County could see anywhere from 1 to 3, probably closer to 2 to 3 across the higher peaks. Along the I-75 corridor through Campbell County, it's always rough during the wintertime. I think we'll see a good solid 1 to 3 inches. And then notice, let's come down the Central Valley. So from Union County to Knox County to Blount County and Loudoun County, notice that sharp contrast of colors. There is going to be a sharp drop-off of snowfall. So while one side of Knox County, the western side, could see maybe an inch of snow or so, the eastern side of Knox County could see closer to 2 to 3 inches. I think it's going to play out that way. And so again, even if you live in a certain location, be like, oh, I didn't get my 3 inches that you said. Well, hold on. If you drove maybe further to the east and southeast in your county, do you get a little bit more? And the answer is probably yes. So I think there's going to be a sharp contrast there. I think from Hawkins County, Hancock to Granger to Hamblen County, Jefferson, we'll say the eastern parts of Knox County, South Knoxville, northern Blount, northern Sevier, say closer to Kodak, right along the I-40, I-81 corridors. I think in the lower elevations, we're looking at probably a good solid 2 to 3. And then it's quickly going to increase in snow amounts as you come up in altitude through the Smokies. So I think the foothills, Maryville, Wallen, Townsend, Pigeon Forge, Cosby, Gatlinburg, Newport, Greenville, up towards Tri-Cities, I think a good solid 2 to 4 plus. And again, the closer you live to the mountains of East Tennessee, the higher snowfall amounts you'll likely get. And the Smokies will get anywhere from 4 to 6 plus. Some of the models are indicating much, much more than that. But remember, this is my preliminary snowfall forecast. We will adjust accordingly over the next 24 hours as new model data comes in, as the low really starts to form and strengthen. That's going to be the game changer. So we go slow and we go low, but I think can't go too low, because I think this has a good potential of producing. And the storm also has a very good potential of overproducing for some. And here's the reason why. Because the snowfall ratios with this storm, typically we get a 10 to 1 ratio. 1 inch of moisture is 10 inches of snow. But I think we're going to be pushing closer to a 15 to 20 to 1 ratio. And so now you're looking at, a lot more snow because it's going to be light. It's going to be fluffy. Now, the first initial onset of snow on Friday night is going to be a wet, heavier snow, which could lead to some ice through the overnight hours. Then you get the light, fluffy snow on top of that because the moisture content in the atmosphere starts to really dry out, even though we have the potential as that Arctic air comes on in. All right, so hopefully that paints a good picture for you here this morning. Now let's talk about impacts because you saw our snowfall forecast. Here's our winter storm impacts throughout the day on Saturday, up and down the I-75 corridor through central Knox County, up 81. We're looking at minor to moderate impacts. And the foothills and the mountains, of course, will have higher impacts. So when you look at this, let's break this down a little bit more detail here for you this morning. So let's start with the Northern Plateau, Tennessee-Kentucky border. Everybody's going to get all snow. This is Friday night through Sunday morning. We're going to have a moderate or medium category for travel impacts. Tennessee-Kentucky border, Northern Cumberland Plateau, closer to, say, Hawkins-Hancock County, okay? Then let's go from Knox County to Tri-Cities along the I-81 corridor. I'm also going to go travel impacts in the moderate to medium category. But you get it south or southeast of the I-81 corridor, the foothills, the mountains, we're going high impact travel. And then down the I-75 corridor south of downtown Knoxville through Chattanooga, lower impacts with this system, but Arctic air still could create some icy conditions around the area. So here's your 7-day forecast. After this storm system in the Arctic air moves its way on through, we'll start to see those temperatures warm up just a little bit more as we head through next week. And so we're going to be working our way back closer to those seasonal averages. As I mentioned, we do have a special guest joining us this morning. Remember that a lot of us, and you hear me talk about this all the time here on the platform, that a lot of us have joint efforts across the country, old broadcast meteorologists that have created this national network of meteorologists doing exactly what I do across the country. And I've talked about this guy quite a bit. The first person that I ever had contact with about how could I possibly get out of legacy media and into the digital broadcast world. Everybody say hi to Nick Pittman. Nick, joining us this morning. How are you this morning, sir?
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. We're kind of trading off here since you visited us here in Jersey a couple days ago. So
yeah,
really cool.
All right, it is really cool, and I love to be able to do this. You know, we have a lot of folks that travel. I do want to talk about impacts of the system.
Sure.
You are no stranger to nor'easters being in New Jersey. Talk about where you live in New Jersey, who you broadcast for, and let's talk about the impacts for your community.
Sure. So I grew up on the beach, a little town called Brigantine, just north of Atlantic City. I'm sure most of your audience is at least familiar with that. But now I live towards Philadelphia, so literally about an hour from where I grew up. We had 8 to 10 inches of snow with the last storm, and now it's just a solid sheet of ice. You know, I told everybody, I think you told your audience too, to clear your driveways before the transition over to ice, and I didn't take my own advice. So now I have 8 inches of just solid Arctic tundra outside my door. So I'm a hypocrite.
Do as I say, not as I do kind of thing, right?
Exactly, 100%. Luckily, with this coming storm, the impact up here is not going to be significant. But as you were just talking about with the ratios, we're expecting I don't know, a quarter of an inch of QPF up here towards the coast. But with a 15 to 20 to 1 ratio, you could end up with 5 inches of snow towards the islands. So it's not a region-wide event. But where I grew up, Atlantic City, down to Cape May, probably looking at up to a few inches of snow as we are on the northern peripheral. Now, we have an issue that clearly you guys don't, since we live at the beach. We've got tidal flooding. So we've got the full moon coming up on Sunday. It looks like the strongest winds are going to be coming in around the time of high tide, like 7 in the morning. And we're probably looking at 40, 50 mile an hour gusts and that wave action. So I'm thinking solid minor flooding, maybe borderline moderate in some cases. So completely different animal from what we just dealt with a few days ago. And that's what I love about this area because it is so diverse. No storms are ever the same. They all have their own personality. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping we can limit the amount of flooding because, you know, while snow is all fun and games for people that don't live by the water, my shore friends are only concerned about the amount of flooding that they're going to get.
Let's talk about for a second. You've been doing this a few years longer than I have briefly, and then we'll get to some questions. A lot of folks are saying, I prefer Asbury Park Beach. So that's nice. A lot of people are saying good morning to you. So I love being able to see the chat there. Tom says, love nor'easters, grew up in southeastern Virginia. But let's talk about for a moment the impact that you have on your community for what you're doing. We, as digital broadcast meteorologists now leaving the legacy media, it's been a game
Sure.
changer for your community. We are seeing that change over here in our community as I'm now just about 2.5 years into this.
Yeah. Well, it was born out of necessity. So I spent many, many years in broadcast, a decade. And then at that decade point, my TV station closed down because they were supposed to, the owners thought that they were going to get really rich by selling the signal off in the auction sale that never happened. So they decided to just shut down the news operation, which New Jersey is a news desert, by the way. We live between New York and Philadelphia. New Jersey does not have its own DMA. We don't have our own television market. So the station I was working for was out of Atlantic City. We had like 500,000 people that watched us. We were great. But it just wasn't bringing in the kind of revenue that you would need to sustain yourself without the NBC affiliation. So when they stripped that of us, there's nothing that we could do at that point. So I decided to just start this, and I was completely flying blind. And it was just basically, well, I need to make enough to cover my mortgage and my bills, and then I'll figure out the rest later, right? It started with me and my husband. My husband did the behind the scenes stuff to get everything ready for this. And now we've grown to 22 employees, and we have like 4 different branches of the company doing different things. But the more successful we are, the more successful I want the community to be. We have a nonprofit. We like to feed families for the holidays and just give back, because I recognize I wouldn't be where I am if it weren't for the people that support what we do, right? I think it's always important to ground yourself. But from the weather standpoint, you've got Philadelphia and the TV stations there, and I'm friends with all the Mets there. They're good people, but they're not in it like we are. Like, this is our business. And people are always asking, well, why are you so accurate and they're not? Because they have the flexibility to blow a forecast and then just move on like it never happened. I don't. Like, literally, if I'm not accurate, then less people watch, and then the less people that watch, the less advertising revenue will come in, right? So it's always about being hyper local. I grew up in this area. I could tell you, like, when there's severe weather, if there's a spin up tornado, I can tell you exactly the landmarks that are in that area. The Philly people cannot, because they're not from here. So I think that is the advantage, that the huge advantage what we are doing has over legacy media. And we're living in a day and age, not a political statement, it's just true, right and left biases in the media. We don't have to deal with that because it's apolitical. Weather has nothing to do with politics. So I think a lot of people are walking away from those traditional news platforms to not hear about all that nonsense 24/7, and we can focus on the science of it all.
Well, I think that's one thing that we do, and you do a lot, and I'm doing that as well. Is really highlighting the community, because we live here, we live in the community that we're broadcasting for. And legacy media is changing drastically, and a lot of folks have really liked the platform that I'm doing. So, first things first, I want to say thank you to you for allowing me to allowing me and teaching me and helping me get really started. And we've grown from 5 of us to now we're up to like 20, 25 people across the country doing this. How can people, if they do travel to New Jersey, how can people follow you and get your app?
Yeah, so I just want to make a quick statement there. I feel like we have developed like a brotherhood between all of us, and it's amazing because we've all become friends in this process. We had a big conference last month in Tennessee, and yeah, while I might have been the first, it doesn't mean that I'm not sitting there watching the presentations of everybody else and learning stuff. Like, I watch your stuff all the time, and you're amazing at what you do. You come up with very creative ideas, and I'm like, I'm gonna try that, and it works. So I think we're all borrowing from one another, and it's just I love it. If you are in New Jersey, you're coming to Philly, coming to Atlantic City. Why would you do that? I don't know. What did I say that? No, it's at
My
Northeastern
brother-in-law
Egg.
lives up there.
Yeah, I know. We were just saying, like, a few minutes from me. But yeah, at Northeastern Egg, NOREASTERNICK, or you can download my app, Norcast, and it will work up here or anywhere else. And you can watch our 24/7 streaming channel. Like, we literally all have the same general setup, and we all change the way we do things. But I think you and I are pretty similar in what we do. But that's the beauty of it. We don't have to fit some corporate idea of what this looks like, you know?
Yeah, Jess says, well said. Just the weather, please, which we've all been taught over the years that people come to local media for the weather only, and not only, but of course, that is the number one thing that they do. A lot of folks, a lot of praise out there for all of us that are doing this digital broadcasting. And I'm just going to throw in something real quick before I let you go and answer a bunch of these questions, because we got a lot more people coming in to asking questions about the snowfall forecast, right? But one thing that we are able to do above and beyond anybody else is we're actually able to dive into the forecast, explain it, be scientific, but also be, you know, we had to broad brush things in local media because we only had a minute and a half to get the forecast out, right? And we're just constantly pumping that out. I used to do 75 weather hits a day, but now I can really concentrate on, you know, my forecast this morning was like 7-8 minutes long, but I go through all those details and the impacts because that's the important part. It's not just about how much snowfall you get, but it's about the impact levels of all this as well.
And that's the beauty of this, because since we're on all day and we control the messaging and all, we can have different types of content. Like we both do the minute videos. If for people that just want the facts, we can go into long dissertations. We can write up everything. We tailor the product for literally everyone. So keep up the great job. I know you got a lot of people asking about the snow. Good luck. I'm kind of jealous, but not really. We still have a lot out here, but I think winter is going to keep on wintering. So that's good stuff. But I'm honored that you'd have me. I'm thankful for our friendship, and I wish you all the luck, my friend.
Amen to that, brother. Nick Pittman, everybody.
See you guys.
All right. We'll catch you later, buddy.
All right.
Anyways, I wanted to bring them to it because, yes, they're going to be impacted by the storm system, not the incredible snow that they have in North Carolina. Now, if we had a digital broadcaster in North Carolina, I would have brought that digital broadcaster on to talk about the impacts. But that's what we are doing as digital broadcasts, doing exactly what I'm doing across the country so we can help each other out. A lot of us travel for jobs, especially here in the Southeast. You travel to North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, Nashville, which Nashville got hit. And so not only do we talk about the communities here locally, but of course we also talk about the impacts of our neighbors, because a lot of us do travel and maybe got vacation homes there as well. All right, so I've thrown it back up on the map. A lot of you are asking questions. By the way, thank you so much for sticking with me this morning, allowing my friends to join the broadcast and to talk about what we are doing. Let's see. You tend to agree with hyperlocal, but but have you seen Ryan Hall, y'all? Just north of us in Kentucky. He's an interesting case. I'd love to see a conversation involving him. Well, he actually was at the last digital weather conference, the second annual, by the way, that I presented at as well. Ryan Hall did present as well. And Ryan did talk about the fact that while he does do national and how he got into doing what he's doing is that it was kind of a total accident, but it just kind of blew up and here he is today. But he is going to continue to push his platform forward. But again, that's, he can only do so much for the entire country from a little tiny place in Kentucky, right? And I think that's the idea of us being hyper local, being there for our communities. And again, I do cover all of East Tennessee. Now, listen, if somebody came into Chattanooga and the Tri-Cities area and wanted to start what I was doing, that's fine. We could shrink our area, but for now, we do cover all of East Tennessee because this is East Tennessee weather. Yes, I feel nerdy, but I enjoy hearing the science behind weather. Thank you, Emily. There we go. Put that up there on the chat. I do appreciate that. Okay, so Robin, let's go back to the basics here for a second, okay? So we're going to recap everything. We're just going to keep it local here. I'm going to go through the basics, but we are under a winter storm watch. This is going to be the greatest impacts, okay? Where we do have the watch. Now, I do imagine that probably the foothills and the mountains, like the highest peaks, will be upgraded probably to a winter storm warning. And then maybe along the I-81 corridor towards, say, Granger County, Knox County, maybe a winter weather advisory. Or maybe that's the winter storm warning, and then the advisory gets painted around that towards the Tennessee-Kentucky border. But again, I don't issue those. I just take the information from the National Weather Service. They are the ones who officially issue all the watches and the warnings. So I'm going to take you back to this map for a second because a lot of folks were asking, when's it going to start? Thanks, Tiffany. I appreciate that. And again, if you like what I'm doing here with East Tennessee weather, I started it 2.5 years ago. Please like and share. Go download the East Tennessee weather app. Just go to your app store. Let me put a link in the chat here for you folks. For folks that may not have the East Tennessee weather app, people ask me all the time. I get a lot of people that ask me all the time and say, "Hey, I watch you every day still." And I go, "Oh yeah, what platform?" Well, over at the local news. I'm like, well, I haven't been there for about through almost 3 years now. So, anyways, I want to bring this back to the map. So this is your 1 hour snowfall accumulations, and this just gives you an idea of what we could see potentially per hour. So those numbers are going to fall and rise, but I'll go through this quickly, and then you'll get an idea. We'll break it down a little bit more. But watch as the snow increases late Friday. So snow comes on in throughout the day on Friday. Heaviest snow is going to be upper East Tennessee and the Smoky Mountains through Friday night, Saturday morning, and then it all starts to fade away as we get into Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and into Sunday morning. So, again, the greatest impacts are going to be across the Smoky Mountains, upper East Tennessee, paralleling the I-81 corridor. So that's going to be the delineation there. I think north of Interstate 81, we see a little bit less snow. South of 81, we're going to see a lot more snow. That's the way it's going to be playing out. And again, the impacts are going to be highest along 81 and across the foothills and the mountains. So a lot of you were asking, what time is this going to start? So let me pull up a different map here for you because I had that one ready to go, I think. And we'll be able to time it all out for you for sure. So I'm going to pick up our timeline. We're just going to edit this on the fly. So bear with me here for a second. But it is going to be increasing. Absolutely. And Ryan's a great guy too, by the way. Really nice guy. And he does some great stuff for our communities for sure, but he does national weather. And it's a lot more difficult to do national weather. All right. So we're going to time this out for you. We're just going to go slowly. So we pick up our timeline this morning. We're just going to see a few mid to high level clouds. So expect a mix of sun and clouds throughout the day today. Friday morning, the clouds start to increase. Okay. But we're snow free. And then as we get into the afternoon, watch this. We have a little wave swinging its way through during our Friday. That could start the process, the snowfall process. So do anticipate a little bit of snow to be developing as the day progresses. Remember I said there may be, before this really cold Arctic air settles on in, there may be a quick little bout of some rain or maybe a little bit of a wintry mix. But it's not going to last long. And we're not talking about major impacts from rain, freezing rain, or sleet, because it's going to change quickly over to snow. So by 7 o'clock tomorrow night, we are going to see snow. Do you see it south towards Lenore City, Sweetwater, Athens, Cleveland, Saudi Daisy, Dayton, Spring City, or Tellico Plains? Maybe not as much by Friday night, okay? But as we go from Friday night into Saturday, you can see how this is all going to fill in for a lot of us. And again, remember that the Arctic air is very efficient. So I think through the overnight hours Saturday into Saturday morning, see how all of East Tennessee is going to be filled in with the snowfall. And then that's going to continue through. So there's 7 o'clock. So yes, a lot of you will be waking up to a winter wonderland on Saturday. And will you be able to go do some sledding on Saturday? Yes. The answer is yes. Is everybody going to be able to? The answer is likely no. But I think a lot of you are going to be able to get out and, those sleds that you purchased from the last storm system, the bread, eggs, and milk that you still have left in the fridge, you'll be doing just fine. Okay, so then through the day on Saturday, watch how it quickly moves its way on out from west to east. So by noon to maybe about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we may start to see some of that snow shut down for most of the area, but still cranking across the foothills and mountains. That's where we're in upper East Tennessee, Tri-Cities, Unicoi, Carter counties. And then we'll still see some light snow showers, some flurries and snow showers through our Saturday night and into our Sunday morning. And then through the day on Sunday, some sunshine and brutally cold air starts to work its way back into the area. So you are the first to see the snowfall totals. If you join me on social media, I did not post these on social media yet, and I won't yet because I want you, if you're on social media, I get it, but a lot of folks don't join the live broadcast. But anyways, Kathy says, love the platform. Thank you. And the group. I love you, Kathy. It's awesome. I pray it shifts and comes straight to Sweetwater. I want a lot of snow. I pray hard for that Jesus will change the direction. Love it, Hunter. Let's see. Come out to Oak Ridge High School tonight at 4:30 tonight. I actually have another event tonight to go to with my good friends Abby Ham and Heather Wallaga. Scott County, here we are. We want snow. So Scott County, you're going to get some snow. I think you have a potential. And again, like I said earlier, this has the potential of overproducing because of the very cold Arctic air. I think that's kind of redundant. Cold and Arctic air is kind of redundant, isn't it? But winter wonderland for Corrington. Yeah, I think you're going to have some snow. I think you could see a good solid 1 to 3. And again, this is preliminary, right? This is just an idea. Please, 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 I can't beg you enough. Check back in tomorrow, okay? And then check back in again Saturday morning as I broadcast live, because the low really hasn't formed a lot and strengthened a lot. And so because of that, we really don't have all the nitty-gritty details. We have a lot, but things can be adjusted. If the storm shifts a little bit further to the east and doesn't strengthen as strong as some of the models are indicating, realize snowfall totals go down for everybody, okay? And that's why I said I typically start low and start to work my way up, but it's already Thursday. The event starts tomorrow. So this is the general idea. And don't get caught on the high end, okay? So if you're, say, in Newport and Greenville and Pigeon Forge, don't look at the 4+. I mean, you can look at it. But if you end up with 1.5 inches of snow or 2.5 inches of snow, we ain't wrong. It's a range. And it's going to be a range, too, based on altitude, or elevation, I should say. Altitudes for aviation. Based on where those winds come from. There's a lot of microclimates here in East Tennessee. And so you can see the 1 to 3 up towards northern Anderson County, up into Scott and Campbell County, because we have got the Cumberland Mountains. It's a lot more hilly terrain and a likely better chance for seeing some decent snow up there. Let's see here. What you all saying? Oh, thanks, Richie. I appreciate that. Today's your birthday. Happy birthday, Kathy. Everybody wish Kathy a happy birthday. We like to celebrate birthdays on this platform. And again, if you like this platform, if you don't have the East Tennessee Weather app, go download the app. I put a link in the chat, so just scroll through the chat. You'll find it. Or just go to your app store. But please like and share this platform, because it really has helped a lot. I mean, listen, we are just cranking up on those downloads. People love the East Tennessee Weather app. And I do so much appreciate it. And if you ever have any issues with the app, you have to let me know. I can't know all things because, yes, I do use it, but some of you use it a lot more than I do. I've got all this weather stuff right here in front of me, so I don't use it as much. Let's see. We'd love to see James Spann from Alabama Weather Network as a guest. I would love to get James Spann on here. Love the work he has done in Alabama for decades, teaching everyone about the weather, visiting kids at schools, educating everyone in preparedness, and getting the weather radios into hands of people that need them most. So glad you're doing this on a non-traditional platform. And actually, I beat James Spann to this non-traditional platform, just an FYI. But yes, he is a part of this big, giant group of people that are breaking away from local legacy media and doing the digital broadcast so we can do stuff like this. Really explain everything in a lot more detail. How much for Loudoun County? It's right there on the screen. Hope you see that, Randolph. Let it snow for my inner child, says my neighbors. We're ready for it in Johnson City. Morristown, my grandkids are praying hard. Good morning, Kodak and Sevier County. Just no ice. This is an all snow event. And again, we could end up with some big fat flakes. It could pile up pretty quickly because it's light and fluffy. And whatever's on the ground Saturday morning is going to be with us on the ground all day Saturday and into our Sunday as well. And something to keep in mind too, as the kids go out and play over the weekend, whoever gets enough snow to actually go out and do some sledding and the kids play, it's not going to be a snowman kind of a making snow, just so you know. You'd have to get some water on it first because it's going to be so light and fluffy. So when you pick it up, it's just going to kind of crumble in your hands. But also the temperatures are going to be so dangerously cold on Saturday and Sunday that all the kids going out to play, you need to keep that in mind. Let me show you your 7-day forecast here once again. Because look at these temperatures. I mean, we're talking about single digits and teens for lows with wind chill values. That's the other side of the story that I've not really highlighted a whole lot. But the wind and the wind chill values all weekend long will be single digits and teens, if not sub-zero, Saturday morning and also Sunday morning. So that's a big deal, right? And so as the kids get out and play, we're talking about, dangerously cold weather. And so you'll want to make sure that they dress appropriately in layers, cover their faces, make sure that they come in for breaks and hot chocolate and to warm themselves by the fire. Those are the good things to do, right? This is the best kind of weather to go out as a child, of course. And if you do work in it, just do travel safely. Let's see. We're We're going to hold you to that. We will be able to sled, Mike. Hold on. I don't know where you live, Whitney. I don't know where you live. Hopefully, I've explained it enough so you all understand that, A, it's a forecast. We don't know what, if you're a believer, we don't know what God's going to do. If you're not a believer, we don't know what the future holds, right? Nobody does. And so it's our best guess. And yes, it is an educated guess. Morning, Rick. How are you this morning? Just bear with me. I will keep you up to date. And, listen, it ain't perfect. And don't concentrate on the exacts in the exact locations, because we all know there are no exacts in meteorology, because it is an inexact science. Let's see. Brett says, thank you, Mike. Best app on the phone. Top 5 used on my phone last week per Apple. Love it, Brett. Thank you very much, sir. Any ideas how long the snow will stick around? So basically, it's going to start Friday. So let's just say by sundown. Some of you will probably get the snow before sundown on Friday. But let's just say sundown. So 7 o'clock Friday through basically 7 o'clock Saturday for most of us. So we're talking about 24 hours. It's going to linger in the mountains Saturday night into Sunday morning in Upper East Tennessee. So you're talking about 36 hours. But we also potentially could see, our last cold snap just last week. We had about 42 hours below freezing. This next cold snap this weekend with the snow, we're talking about up to 72 hours of below freezing temperatures. That tells a story. And again, as we've seen it all week long, how we've gotten those light snow showers and flurries, and you hear me talk about it all the time. Arctic air is very efficient. That's why I'm saying there is a good potential that this storm system could potentially overproduce. And if you don't have the East Tennessee weather app, this is what it looks like, by the way. Now, this is on my computer. This is not the exact of what it looks like on your cell phones, but close. Remember, I do a 1 minute with Witcher, so I don't give all the details. I can't give all the details in 1 minute. Sometimes they go a little bit longer, especially if we have a lot to talk about. But then I guide you to your full forecast. So that's that. So if I ever say, hey, listen, go click over to the full forecast. I mean, this morning's full forecast is like 7-8 minutes long, because I do exactly what I did this morning and walk you through hour by hour impacts. Because while snow's a great thing, it's also about how it impacts our lives. With the cold weather, the snowy weather, the freezing rain, sleet, whatever it may be, or even the severe weather come springtime. And just realize now's the time to download the app as well, because I actually think that spring's going to be very active this year. The app travels wherever you go, as long as you allow GPS location services and notifications. You'll be notified anytime I'm live. You'll be notified with any severe thunderstorm warnings or winter weather, any watches and warnings. And it will work anywhere in the country for those watches and warnings. Plus, you also get notified when lightning is within 15 miles of your location. So now's the time in the winter months to get used to it as we get into the springtime months. And winter weather takes a long time to occur and happen and to evolve. Severe weather happens pretty quickly. Those storms are in and out pretty quickly. So that's why you need to. And then the interactive radar is great. It gives you past, current, and future radar. But there's a wealth of weather information with that radar as well. If you come up here to the cogwheel, you have all these products right here. Then you have overlays as well. So you can turn on lightning, earthquakes. You can track tropics with us as well. So a wealth of weather information. And you can change the map to whatever map you want to. So there's a lot of cool stuff. And a lot of folks have been asking me recently, how do I get rid of certain things? So you can add different cities. See this little plus sign? It's really tiny and it's hard to hit sometimes, to be honest with you. I'd make that plus sign a little bit bigger if I designed the app. But if you click that plus sign, you can add any location in the world. And get a forecast right there on the East Tennessee Weather app. But I always encourage folks to, if you use it, to use it this way. If you're going on vacation or traveling for your job, add that location in a week leading up to you leaving. Then it gives you an idea of what the weather's going to be like in that location. And then when you leave to come back home, wherever you may be, click on Witcher's 1 minute weather or the full forecast, and that will give you a good idea of what you're coming back to here in East Tennessee. And if you have different locations, see this right here, this little bar on your phone, this slides. Did you know that? And as it slides, watch the map. The map changes as you slide to those different locations that you've put on the East Tennessee Weather app. So it's a wealth of weather information. It's 100% free. Thank you to all of these sponsors in the bottom right there. And of course, Jim Brogan and Brogan Financial here this morning but a lot of local sponsorships. And we are going to be doing something really cool. And we actually start it today. Well, we don't start it today. We're going to go shoot it today. But we're going to be doing a small business social media spotlight. And we're going to highlight small businesses here in East Tennessee about their business on social media. And so we're going to be talking to Harbs, Oriental Carpets and Rugs, Oriental Rugs and Carpets here today. And so that's going to be showing up on the broadcast as well. We'll air those on the broadcast so you can get an idea of who these people are. Our communities are built on small businesses. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of people have taken the leap of faith, like I did myself, to start East Tennessee Weather. And I want to highlight those people because their businesses matter in our communities, and you probably use them a lot more than you think that you do. And do you actually know the people behind it and what they offer all the time? And so that's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be doing a small business social media spotlight. Say that 10 times fast, right? And so if you are a small business and you want to be highlighted, there is a small fee to it, but it's really, really cheap compared to what you can get for advertising. Hit me up, mike@easttnweather.com, and we would love to come out and highlight your business amongst the growing platform that East Tennessee Weather is. James Spann was on the air all night long during the last blizzard. It's on YouTube. Yes, he was. And he stays wall-to-wall coverage for severe weather. You just need a bowl of snow cream. Yes. Oh, Sarah. I want some snow cream. Snow cream. I told my kids this morning, I said, hey, listen. I said, there's a good chance that you probably are going to be able to do some sledding. Maybe not first thing Saturday morning, but through the day on Saturday. But we live in West Knoxville, so we're going to be on the cusp. So I think Hardin Valley, West Knoxville, Farragut, if you're joining me from the Knoxville area, less snow potential than, say, the further east you are as you get closer to Jeffco and Sevier County and northern Blount County. So something to kind of keep in mind. But that's kind of the story that we're talking about and the storm system. But yeah, we do have a better chance. It does some amounts on my phone. It cuts off. It does what? It doesn't some amounts on my phone. It cuts off. It doesn't show. Not quite sure what you're saying there, Randolph. Trying to read between the lines here. Madisonville needs some snow. Less snow for you in Madisonville than any other locations. And by the way, if you are in Madisonville, you know I've got a live camera at KMNV, Monroe County Airport. This is a beautiful sunrise coming in from that airport in Madisonville. Look at those high-level clouds. So I think that's going to be the story here throughout the day today. And again, a lot more cameras coming to the market here. We are working on a lot of big things with East Tennessee Weather, and we're growing every single day. So when is it expected to start, says Scott and Diane. It sounds like a song there, Scott and Diane. Yeah, so tomorrow. So through the day tomorrow night. Don't anticipate a whole ton through the day tomorrow, but it will start to crank tomorrow night. And then through the overnight hours into Saturday morning, that's when we're going to get a good bout of snow. And so a lot of you are going to wake up Saturday morning to a winter wonderland. Again, let me just stress enough. Don't take into account the exact locations because it is weather and we live in we live in a small area across the big giant world. But we do have the winter storm watch in place. That runs from tomorrow night through Saturday night. That is going to be the location for the greatest impacts from the storm. And when we talk snowfall totals, let me get those snowfall totals up for you. Here are the snowfall totals for you, okay? And again, this is preliminary, but I think this is a great starting point, actually, to be honest with you. I think it took me a long time this morning to really dive into what I'm thinking, but I think you can see the darker colors, the more brighter colors, the darker shades, or the different shades anyways. As those shades get a little bit, go from light blue to purple, that's where we see heavier snow. So, you can't see that on the screen. Let's get that back up on the screen here for you. That's not it either. Let's how many buttons can I push here this morning? I need another cup of coffee. Anyways, if it starts as rain, maybe Friday wouldn't be, let's see, that freeze, and then it wouldn't be snow on top of ice. If it starts as rain, Friday, wouldn't that freeze, and then it would be, man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to read between the lines here. It would freeze. If we, for some crazy reason, get a quick little bout of rain as that Arctic air comes on in, or maybe a quick little sleet, yes, obviously that's going to create icy conditions, and then you get the snow on top of that. But realize that you can drive on snow a lot better than you can drive on ice. You get traction. But I would say, listen, just Saturday, again, a weekend storm, the impacts go down. And I'm so sorry, teachers. For any teachers out there, I'm really sorry. I know you all want snow. You want those snow days. Monday, potentially, we could have a snow day thanks to the cold Arctic air and the cold temperatures. Do you think this will be cleared out by Monday? So there we go. I'm just trying to answer that right now. The snow will be gone. The snow is going to be gone late Saturday night or through the day on Saturday from west to east, okay? Let me see if I can't show you that future cast again. Anyway, so that's really going to be the story. So snow picks up Friday night, all night Friday. A lot of us are going to wake up to snow on the ground on Saturday morning. It's going to crank Saturday morning and then slowly fade from west to east through the day on Saturday, Saturday night, and then we should see some sunshine, but cold Arctic air for our Sunday. That's kind of the general idea. So I think the heaviest snow is going to last about 12 to 24 hours. The whole storm system is going to be about 24 to 36 hours by the time it starts and is all said and done. And from west to east, the impacts go from low to high, as this map clearly shows you right here. And I think, let me throw this up for you folks as well. So you can, I don't know if you're on your cell phone, you may not be able to read it very well, but I'm going basically Tennessee, Kentucky border, Cumberland Plateau, a medium category for travel impacts Friday night into Sunday morning. I'm going about medium category from Knoxville to Tri-Cities along the I-81 corridor. North of Interstate 81, medium category for impacts, for travel impacts. High category for travel impacts south of 81, south of Interstate 40, closer to the foothills and mountains. I shouldn't say south of 40 because 40 runs up, obviously, over the mountains into North Carolina. But I do think that we're going to have some big impacts. I would just say travel's not advised through the day on Saturday, especially traveling eastbound on 81 or Interstate 40 at this point of the game. And again, subject to change for sure. This is just the start, but the models have really had a good handle on this all week long. So that's why I've got a pretty good handle on it. But if for some reason that low doesn't strengthen as much, and a weaker low is less snow, a stronger low is more snow. But if it pushes a little bit further to the east, it's less snow. If it comes a little bit further to the west, then we fill in East Tennessee with a lot more snow. So then those higher impacted areas across the mountain counties will actually get a little bit more snow further to the west. So there is still going to be some changes and some fine tuning to the forecast. Off Pellissippi Bluegrass area. All right, so you're kind of in my neck of the woods, Whitney. No pun intended. Your last name is Woods. Didn't mean that. But I think we could see a good solid 1 up to 3 max. I don't think it's going to be as much West Knoxville and points further to the west. Higher terrain across the plateau will get a little bit more. Awesome. Big shout out to the transport group this morning. Hey, transport group. Don't forget to go to your cell phones right now. Seth will help you. Download the East Tennessee weather app, right? Seth, you're going to help me get a bunch of downloads right there on the transport group. Let's see. Listen, I mean, Snowshoe, if you want to go to Snowshoe, West Virginia right now, you're going to live life if you're a skier or a snowboarder. If you want to get up to Cataloochee, Beach, Sugar, they're going to be impacted big time from the storm system. So great ski weekend. I would just recommend leaving before the snow actually starts. Vicky's ready for spring. What's the start time for Morristown? Late afternoon Friday, but really Friday night into Saturday. Record low for Chattanooga on Sunday is 10 degrees. We could get close. Yeah, we are talking about, it's just going to be brutal. Just enjoy the surprise of snow. That's why I say you can't concentrate on the specifics. It is, East Tennessee is rather big, generally speaking, but really, really tiny in the grand scheme of the world. The world's a big place. Oak Ridge going to get snow enough to sled? Yeah, I think so. It may be some thin snow if you only get an inch, but I think we have the potential of 1 to 3. So I'll throw that on the map again for you. Throw this on the screen so a lot of folks can see exactly what we're talking about. It'll go here in a second. There you go. So Oak Ridge, I think anywhere from 1 to 3 possible. So that West Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Hardin Valley area, I think 1 to 3. parts of northern Union County, parts of Claiborne County, over into Roane County, I think 1 to 2, 1 to 3 inches. So again, not a huge snowmaker, but as I've mentioned here this morning, this could overperform because of the Arctic air. Sometimes models have a really hard time with this Arctic air, and with Arctic air, the snow ratios go way up. So your typical snow ratio is a 10 to 1. 1 inch of rain equals 10 inches of snow. But our snow ratios are going to be pushing about 15 to 20, 22 to 1. And so that takes that 1 inch of moisture, and now instead of 10 inches of snow, you get 15 to 20 inches of snow, right? That's that liquid snow ratio. And so it's going to be a light, fluffy snow. It's going to be a beautiful snow. For whoever gets the heaviest snow, it's going to be gorgeous. It's going to blanket the treetops, the decks, and the backyards. Happy birthday to Brody. He's 13 years old today. Nice. Happy birthday, buddy. Will this kind of snow make the roads treacherous? Yes, any kind of snow makes the roads treacherous. Listen, if you get just barely a dusting, maybe it's going to be light enough until people drive on it. But if it's snow packed in your neighborhood or in the roads, the more people that drive on it, now you get ice, right? So you get that melting to occur. So as folks drive on the snow, even if it's just a little bit, that melts it, and you're going to get a lot more ice because temperatures will only be in the single digits, teens, and 20s for morning lows and for afternoon highs all weekend long. So that is going to be a concern. So travel impacts will definitely increase due to the plain nature of the cold Arctic air. Thanks, Buck. What's up, buddy? It's your grandson's birthday in Ohio, and he wished to be out of school. Canton, Ohio, had brutal wind chills and no school. You're welcome, Hunter. I appreciate you. You worry about the blizzard on the Outer Banks of North Carolina? It could potentially be a blizzard. Schools you think will be closed Monday and Tuesday? We'll see what happens. Yeah, that's cold. Anything in Oakdale? Yeah, you're probably going to get 1 to 3, 1 to 2 inches, possibly in Oakdale. I think that's the general idea. So hopefully you can see that map there. Let's see. I was in Nashville when the ice storm came through. I was in Vandy Hospital. I have pictures of the ice around here. I can send pictures to you if you want. Yeah, you can upload those through the Witcher's Pictures link or submit a photo on the East Tennessee Weather app. That's the other cool thing about the app, by the way, for the newbies on here, is that you can submit those. No, it's not working. But anyways, right here in the bottom right, see where it says submit a photo? So you can submit a photo right there. It comes right to my weather computer, which, by the way, let's see. For those of you that are sticking around, a lot of times we share photos, but actually I don't have any new photos really. So we showed this one yesterday. This is the kind of cool thing that you can do and that we share typically on a normal broadcast day or during snow events or storm events. We can share photos live on the air. And this is a photo from Bald River Falls in the Cherokee National Forest just the other day. And this picture was sent in by Bobby Boyd. So this is the kind of thing that you can do with the East Tennessee Weather app under Submit Photos. We're not going to worry about national holidays and whatnot tonight. We have been talking for a very long time. Harbs is great. Yeah, big shout. So we're going to go talking to those folks today. Again, we're doing a small business social spotlight on the East Tennessee Weather platform to help our local community and help some of these smaller businesses. You think? Buck, you are the best. I appreciate it. And fiber for the win, right? Thanks a lot, Ben. Let's see. So is Maryville getting a lot of snow? Hopefully you've seen this on the picture right there. I think Maryville could potentially produce upwards of 2 to 4. I think generally speaking. Now, a little bit further down the Appalachians, closer to Tellico Plains and into, say, Benton and Polk County, lesser amounts. Higher amounts the further north and northeast you are, lesser amounts the further west and southwest that you do live from. You can clearly see the bullseye is going to be across the mountains. Did the kitchen countertops come in? The kitchen countertops have come in. They were working all day yesterday, and they should start to wrap things up today and tomorrow. That's the hopes anyway. So soon, Mel, soon we will have a kitchen again. For those of you just wondering what Mel's talking about, we had a kitchen fire nearly a year ago, February 15th of 2025. And we have been without a kitchen since then. Strawberry Plains, we sit right near Jeffco County line beside New Market. And so, yeah, you have the potential of a good solid 2 to 4 inches. And again, a light, fluffy snow. No snow in Sweetwater. Well, you may get a little bit. Definitely need to know about Newport. The Newport has the potential of 2 to 4 plus. And I say that plus mark because, again, give me another 24 hours. We might fine tune these snowfall totals. Hopefully, we don't have to come down on them. Hopefully, we can only go up on them for you snow lovers. Love me some champagne snow. This is going to be some champagne snow. It won't start off that way, Matthew, but it will definitely progress that way as that Arctic air comes on in. I really wish you had a camera in Campbell County. Pat, help me out. If you know somebody in Campbell County that wants an East Tennessee weather camera, just hit me up and let me know. They are free for small businesses and whatnot. Chattanooga is a circle of sadness. Want some info? So just hit me up, Mike at easttnweather.com, Liz. Mike at easttnweather.com. I haven't set up my small business social spotlight email yet, so once I have that set up, we'll probably gear you a different direction. But if you send it to Mike at easttnweather.com, my sales guy and I both get that, and we can help you out. Again, it's just a small fee. It's way cheap, and we have some fun. We come talk about you and your business, and we put you on social media, which, of course, the social media platform has been growing a lot. The East Tennessee Weather platform has grown a lot, and we will be able to put these on the app itself as well. That's a really cool thing, and online at easttnweather.com. And I'm getting a new website. Sorry, the website's kind of been in a funk lately. We don't have the new website yet. Hopefully, we can get that launched here real soon. And that says, let it snow. Let's hope for the best, Linda, right? Don't quote me on that, but let's hope for the best, and don't look at the 4 inches and say, oh, if we only get 2 inches, I was wrong. That's not how it works. I know you see the higher end of those numbers, and you got to check back in tomorrow. I cannot stress enough. You have to come back in and check tomorrow. Andersonville, I think you potentially could see 1 to 3. It kind of just depends on where you are. So Norris and the Andersonville area, I think a good solid 1 to 3 is definitely looking possible. And again, as I mentioned, this could overperform. And it's all based on the track and timing and in strength of this storm. How much snow in Hamlin County? Well, I think you could see a good 2 to 3 inches. You're going to be closer to the bigger snowfall totals in Hamlin County, Granger County, Hawkins, Hancock, Jefferson County. Cock, of course, Greene County and up against the foothills. Kingsport, I think you could possibly see 2 to 3. Now, again, if this shifts a little bit, again, I can't stress enough that this could overperform. Something to keep in mind. Anyways, Jellicoe. We'll hit Jellicoe, and then we're going to wrap things up here this morning. We have been talking for an hour about snow. No wall-to-wall coverage with East Tennessee weather during these snowstorms. Get out and enjoy it. Hang back by the fire as it gets going. Of course, I'll have live updates tomorrow morning at 7:30, 8 o'clock Saturday morning. And I would love for you to join me on the broadcast on Saturday morning to give me a live weather report from your community. I will open up this platform to you, the public, on Saturday morning so we can give everybody a good idea of what we ended up with during the overnight hours. And it won't be done Saturday morning. It's still going to be snowing throughout the day on Saturday. So I'm going to leave you with a live look in downtown Gatlinburg as we wrap things up here this morning. From Tennessee Jed's, by the way. Great sandwich shop in downtown Gatlinburg. This scene that you're getting ready to see will be a nice snowy scene come Saturday morning. All right, my friends, be safe. Be kind to each other. Please be kind to each other. Use some respect, especially on social media. And I will see you back here throughout the day on social media and tomorrow morning live for another Wake Up with Witcher episode. Like episode 5,000. Just kidding. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Enjoy.
Fly free. There's a spray can sitting, it could light up the show. twists and turns up the alley, just like it should. So your colors, they start, and it's stripping you